Hello, Ariana here from Scale and Simplify. This video is going to be all about analytics and tracking. So within Kartra, in pretty much I think all of these sections, there is this analytics tab and then various different analytics depending on what you're looking at, whether it's pages, your memberships, and so on. I won't go through all of them in this video, but I want to touch on the key things that you should be reviewing in your account on a regular basis. I also want to talk about tracking outside of Kartra. So let's jump into that first. So two sort of categories of things that I track are the links and sort of like a library of all of the assets, as well as metrics. So talking about links first, you can structure this in like various different ways. But this is an example that I wanted to share. So just having a library of every separate funnel that you have, where it has, the name of the page, for example, as you have it named in Kartra. So if you're looking for it later, you know what name to search for. URLs for it. There's no place in Kartra where you can like go and see a list of all of the URLs. So it's really helpful to have that documented elsewhere. And then I like to kind of connect it to whatever other assets there are. So having it laid out here where I can see what the product is, what the price of it, if there's a form associated with it, any tags that get applied, if they purchase the upsell, these are the tags that get applied, and any sequence that they might be added to after purchase or after opting in. This you would kind of set up each time you set up a new funnel, and then you would want to make sure that you're updating it regularly as well. It's really helpful, like I said, for like various different uses of just having and seeing things at a glance. And then also for auditing, so I recommend doing regular audits of all of your funnels, which means kind of looking through everything, seeing if anything needs to be changed or if there's any improvements to be made. And when you have it documented here, you can just kind of flip through all of the pages, and it's much easier than working on something like that from within Kartra. And realistically, like when your Kartra is fresh and new, there's not a ton in there. It doesn't feel like this would be necessary, but over time you will add new things, and it can get kind of messy if you don't have it tracked elsewhere for certain purposes. Okay, I'll talk about tracking metrics in a spreadsheet, but first let's look at metrics inside of Kartra. So the key areas that I would recommend reviewing regularly at whatever intervals you think works best for you and your business, be that weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, but fairly regularly. There's pages, your products, as well as forms for your freebie opt-ins, and then communications as well for reviewing your open rates and all of that. So in each of these, you'll see the analytics tab and you can explore what is in there. So under pages, if you go to analytics and then conversions, this is where you're going to get your page views numbers and goals for associated with those pages. So the goal is like an opt-in or a sale. Now, something to note about goals is that depending on how you have things set up, and because there is some rate of error within Kartra as well, those may not be 100% accurate. And so one piece of that is just making sure you have things sort of connected properly, and that means like when you have if you're creating an opt-in form, that you're selecting the proper sales page and thank you page so that the system knows how to track that opt-in back to those pages and can classify it as a satisfied goal for a particular page. But what I like to do is, I refer to this for page views. You can document the goals or have a look at the goals, and then I also then refer to the forms and products to really see how many goals were satisfied or how many opt-ins and sales there were in reality, because those will be much more accurate. Because when you go to forms and the analytics there, you can see for sure how many people actually opted in. And same with products, you can see how many people made a purchase. You can also install Google Analytics on your site and track the visitors as they show up in Google Analytics for each page, or in here. I often do both and then just kind of see how much variance there is between them. It's never 100% accurate, but it does give you a sense of, what's getting more versus less views. Now there is under funnels, like you can have, there's the live data of funnels in there as well. So you can use that for tracking metrics too. Again, I do like to still have them in a spreadsheet separate, and then it helps you review sort of analytics over time and make comments for yourself and so on when you're really like analyzing it. Okay, so page engagement shows you, I find that this is not super accurate sometimes. Let me see if I can pull up an example. This will show you sort of how many people viewed what part of a sales page. So let me say that again. So on the right hand side, you can see this bar and it shows, so yeah, this one had no views. I don't think this is a live page. Okay, so it'll look something like this, where on this side you can see it says visitors, and then it's red, and when you scroll, it's going to give you a percentage, and then this is saying essentially, if it's accurate, that 100% of visitors reached up till this point in the page as they scrolled, and then 0% reached the very bottom. So 100% left at this level of the page. So if you have a page that has enough views where this could be accurate enough to be helpful, this can help you determine, like, are you keeping people engaged throughout the page? How can you get more people to stay on the page longer to view the information and so on? But I do look at these stats much more. Okay, so now I'm in forms. We're going to go to analytics there. And here again, you can select like which forms specifically, or you can have a look at it overall. And here you can track, so I would have this for all of the freebies, and then you would track, you would go to pages, you would get the number of views, and then you would come in here and you would see how many people opted in to get your conversion, and so on. And so this is something that you can have a look at regularly, and like I said, pull out some of that data in a spreadsheet in a way that you can track it in a way that's more meaningful for you. And let me show you what that could look like. So here, you could have some sort of date, weekly, monthly, you could do it daily. And then you want to have, like, what is the page name? You want to have page views documented, the name of the thing, the price, whether it's your freebie or a paid thing, leads generated. This would be like, if this is a freebie, you're putting in how many people opted into it, the dollar amount of sales, and the conversion rate. So your conversion rate is going to be a formula, which is your leads divided by how many people viewed it. We're going to make that a percentage. Okay, and then you can put any comments that you'd like. So again, there are various different ways to organize this data. You could do it differently as well, but you could do, date of and replicate the dates, and then repeat this whole process for each key form and product that you have in Kartra, and then You can do it that way, or you can have a separate tab for each funnel. But the key things to look at are, of course, the page views, so you can see how well they're converting, and then the result, which is the free opt-in or the sale. So I would start with that, and then you can look through all of these other ones and look at what analytics there are there and what would be helpful for you to review regularly. I like to put reminders and a list of actual things that I'm going to review inside of the account, or have somebody pull in information into a spreadsheet for me so I can review it that way. So this is like if you have surveys, you can have a look at how many people have completed them. You can review the results, and there's additional metrics in there. If you have webinars, you can have a look at, there's no data here, but you can have a look at some of the available metrics in there. Something like a webinar, if you're doing it regularly, I would definitely have that in a spreadsheet, where each week you analyze some of these key things, like how many people signed up versus how many attended, how many watched in full, how many purchases you had, and all of that in a spreadsheet specifically for that one webinar. And again, often people get intimidated, they're not sure where to start. There's no right or wrong way. I think it's valuable to just kind of start documenting things, and then later you can rework how you organize it, or have somebody else, if you've hired somebody else to help you with that. But having that historical data is really important because it's going to help you make better decisions on funnel structure and your offers and everything down the road. Okay, that is it for the analytics overview video.